because you know, we were like, how do we do a little homage to that movie that we love so much? And what's hilarious about it when it's stay back, shking, you know? And so it was super fun to do.
Yeah, and I think it also defined in a great way Steve Trevor and Diana's relationship as it continues off of Themyscira and onto man's world. That balance it's a tough, tricky balance. When but you see him, he's starting to learn, like, stand back or maybe not.
Yeah.
Like,
I love that he's a super badass, but he's also like, well, maybe that's...
yeah, go for it. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, exactly.
So how did you want to tell them a little bit about how you approached this with Diane and Steve? How you, because I thought talking about the relationship and how it progressed throughout the film, this was a key part of that.
It really was. I mean, we wanted Steve Trevor to be the greatest version of Steve Trevor ever we could ever think of, which is, you know, we're sort of basing him on Indiana Jones. He's like a super tough guy, but he's also self-deprecating and a little world-weary and a little tired and like, oh, he doesn't believe anything's possible. Now you collide that with Wonder Woman, with young Wonder Woman, who's like, oh, you'll see it is possible. You're gonna see what's gonna happen. He's like, okay, that's great. I like you a lot, you know. And then you start putting him in these situations where they have a great sense of humor and they have a great dynamic between the two of them. But in context, it's what makes a scene like this so enjoyable is that she's been telling him for many scenes, in, you know, going back, like, oh yeah, it's going to be no problem. I'm going to do all kinds of things. And he's like, okay, sure. And then does this, and he's kind of like, okay. And so they kind of, you know, it's their worldviews, like any great love story, but also like any, you know, they're the perfect embodiment of any great story of a superhero and man's world, which is that, you know, and not unlike oftentimes superhero and their earthly counterpart, whoever it is, where it's like there's a worldliness to the counterpart, but then that person's perspective is changed by this superhero, just as they learn from them about the world.
Yeah, that learning process between both of them is, I think, part of the fun of the movie.
Yeah.
You know, again, like the heart, humor, and heroics is built into Steve, like really. And Chris, I think it's the best performance he's ever done.
Yeah.
You got out of him by far.
Oh,
You want to talk about working with him because that was so awesome.
Well, he's one of